Hi, my name is Rod Sinks. I'm the mayor of Cupertino, and today we're going to take a walk through the lovely Stevens Creek corridor from north to south and end up here at the Blacksmith shop. And accompanying me is Barbara Banfield, the city's naturalist.
It's a great place. I think people should come walking here in the time when it's blossoming because it just smells incredible. And
But we've recently won some even national awards for having restored this creek, right?
that was really important because we have like there aren't many creeks in the Bay Area that still have runs of steelhead. We have a Central Coast steelhead
We're gonna
that
try
is
to
a
walk a little
threatened
faster.
species. And the creek had some issues. It still has issues, but it had a lot of issues that we were able to address. We had some barriers to fish passage, ones that were intentionally man-made, like a diversion dam, and some low-flow crossings that were removed, and then some things that were unintentional byproducts of erosion of the hardscape that we put on the banks. And as those big chunks of concrete created barriers to the juvenile fish. Big fish can get over them, but the juveniles can't move. And this is really important rearing habitat for that species.
Well, that's great. So we rearranged the creek. We made quiet pools so fish could rest. Have we seen a return of fish to this creek?
Well, remember 2 years of drought. So this year wasn't so bad, but the previous year it was the first time as long as I can remember that we had dry sections of the creek dry back down here. So it was a really rough year for steelhead. But in years when they couldn't get in to breed as well, steelhead can stay out in the ocean a little longer, and we're hoping with good rains this year they'll come in and breed, and we'll be watching this spring for juvenile steelhead.
Yeah, nice. Now, are people allowed to fish in the creek?
No, not here. But there are areas where, Fish and Game regulates that, not the city.
Yeah.
And so they
You said
should always
it's too
check
protected and it's still not established enough.
Yes.
I get it. Well, it certainly is a beautiful restoration. This is a lovely walk to take in our city. And I know when I've had visitors from around the world come here, including folks from our sister cities, this is one of their favorite places in the whole city. So,
Well, it's not just them. Since this path has gone in, I've just seen so much use. People who are down here every day walking their dogs, people who go from one end to the other and then back, and it's part of their regular exercise regime, their nature time with their kids, their bird watching time. So it's really glad that people are able to get out.
despite all the rain this morning and all the rain on my aggregate patio, I noticed this thing is fully drained.
This is a permeable concrete they put in, and they have a parking lot too that is permeable concrete in some areas, and then they have more permeable summer. They have a cell that gives it stability, and then gravel on that, and that drains really well.
So I suppose what that does, instead of sending water down the storm drain immediately out to the bay, that allows that water to percolate down into our aquifer. Is that right?
That does. And it also keeps, going through the soil, it has a chance, like for any oil that dripped from the cars, it can kind of get filtered out in the soil. So that's a really good thing. Instead of going off a hardscape directly down a storm drain, it has no chance to break down.
Nice.
So, we have
great things about this place.
we have for about, I think this fall we had about 1,800 kids already out here. That we have about 2,000 every year from the Cupertino Union School District that learns about stormwater issues, and having real positive examples of what should be done is a great thing.
Yeah, they teach their parents too.
Yeah, that's what I think is one of the big effects of the program is you get kids going home and kind of tugging on their parents' coat sleeve saying, hey, we ought to be doing this.
Yeah. Very good. So 1,800 kids. Where do these kids hail from?
Cupertino Union School District. It's all the third grade classes come.
Nice.
And we even have we'd love to outreach to homeschool kids in the community, and always looking for more kids.
Well, now we're headed into this area that's primarily for recreation. We have a couple of pools, and we have a picnic grounds over here, and we recently had a harvest festival here. It was a lot of fun. I can still see the hay. There were lots of pumpkins and kids playing and vendors and all kinds of fun things going on.
And the week before, we had the Audubon had their wildlife education day
Nice.
here, and so it's for recreation and education as well. We have our summer camps use this area, and so you combine fun and education. I think it's great that you kind of have it all together here.
Now, if I remember, 20 or so years ago, the city council asked voters whether or not they wanted to buy this private property to incorporate as part of our city's greenscape. Does that sound familiar?
Yes, it had been years ago. This was fenced off, and you could only enter this area during the operating days by paying a fee at the gate, and then you couldn't pass through here from either direction by trail because there's a fence around it. You can't operate a facility like this that has a fee at the gate and then let a trail come through. So they had to really redesign this. And now it's just the swimming pool area that's fenced. And so people pay a fee for the pool. They pay a fee to have picnics reserved in the reserved picnic area. But then the rest of the time, this is open to the public.
And this is a gate that cuts through to Scenic Circle, I believe, right?
And this has been important because if you head right up that drive there, you're right by Monte Vista High School, and beyond that is Lincoln Elementary, and so kids from that neighborhood can have a safe route by coming through here.
Great.
This is even though the nature preserve that is down here, I love coming down here because we've had so many great nesting birds here. We have nesting hawks. I've had some evening owl programs. You know, you've come on them.
Oh, yeah.
And so this is kind of a hot spot for owls here. And we love bringing people down here. And just look at all the white berries over there and the snowberries along the creek. We have up here, when I walked down before, I saw the toyon berries are getting ripe. And this is a lot of the plants that were put in as part of phase 1 restoration are really developing nicely. And I was just talking with a community member, Debbie Jemison, who's suggesting having some walks with the Native Plant Society to get people out and appreciate these restoration
There's an access trail
planting.
right here, I guess, that gets you down to the bank.
This is, you come by on warmer days and you'll see a lot of people out enjoying the creek edge.
Yeah, today it feels like, what, 40, 45? It's pretty chilly after that big rainstorm. It is getting to be mid-November, so.
Well,
I remember the owl walk I came on here. It was fantastic. I mean, we actually heard a screech owl, we heard a barn owl, and we heard a great horned owl. Isn't that
correct.
right?
Yes.
All three of them
All
live
three
down
of them here. And we've had a little owl, a little screech owl, roosting on the end of the barn, one of the beams, all summer. So not reliably there every day, but reliably enough that lots of people have been able to get down and take a look.
I thought it was fantastic to be here on a dark night and
Well, you know,
just hear the calls of these owls.
speaking of dark nights, we're planning in this spring a bat walk and another bat walk. We had a bat biologist come out, and we walked down here, and we were standing on the bridge when this incredible meteor came to the sky. So even though we were out looking for bats, you never know what you're going to see. But we're planning, we had another, last December, even though it was a drought year, December was incredibly rainy. And we had a night hike scheduled, and we went ahead even though it was a really rainy night. And it turned out to be great, because I'm not used to being out in rainy nights, but kids had flashlights that were black lights, and in the rain, millipedes that fluoresce under black light. I had no idea there were so many in the park, but they were everywhere. This whole meadow was filled with them. And then we saw a fungus, or not fungus, slime molds that were fluorescing too. So it turned out, a rainy walk turned out to be quite a surprising adventure.
Now we had a ceremonial opening of the Cupertino Environmental Education Center here at McClellan Ranch Preserve, which we're coming up to, and the Blacksmith shop, and we're going to see that in a bit as we're making our way south. But can you tell us about some of the programming that you offer there, in addition to what you're doing for students?
Well, we have after-school classes for kids. Kids usually, we have for 5 to 7-year-olds, and a few more classes for 8 to 12-year-olds. And one thing we're hoping now that we have multiple rooms is we can expand to offer more programming for teens. We're talking to some community members. I've had a woman who teaches biology at De Anza who might come and help with some Sunday, like science days, where we can explore topics that might appeal to slightly older kids. We have some programs for adults. We have like mixed weekend programs, mixed age programs for families. On the weekend we just had a natural fiber day. Spinners and weavers came out, and we had kids washing dirty sheep's fleece and being amazed as it turned snowy white. And then they bring it out and use carding combs to comb it, and somebody'd help them spin it, and they got to take home some yarn.
Nice.
And so we have some Aloni related classes for families in the spring, a basketry class for adults, mushroom, a local author and mycologist is coming. He taught a day-long class last year. And
so mycologist, help me out here. What's a mycologist?
Oh, somebody who studies fungus.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Like mushrooms.
Yes.
Oh man, I hear things, I see things.
Yeah.
Here we have community gardens, right?
We have community gardens, and we have the 4-H area. You hear goats.
Yeah,
They're
we do.
especially noisy at dinner time, and they are quite social too, so they see us and they're calling out. And you know, it is having both the garden and the 4-H here is kind of an added benefit, because it adds to the diversity of things you can do with programming. When even a few weeks ago, I had a bones, skulls, and skeletons class, both for after-school kids and then a family one, just in time for Halloween. But you know, I was able to bring this little model human skeleton down and line it up next to one of the goats on all fours, and we could kind of talk about where a goat's hip joint, where its femur was, where its heel was, and it was quite the comparative anatomy class.
Very fun.
And it's a resource here. A lot of the 4-H kids come and help with presentations that we do.
So I know I've had honey from this place. What other animals are here besides goats?
Well, they have a lot of poultry. They have some market animals that are here just, they are grown to be sold at the fair.
Okay.
So we have pigs in the summer and sheep, and we have mini horses. And then the bees, That is an added benefit because we'll be doing a bees and beekeeping exhibit this spring, probably going up maybe mid-February. So if you come by, you can come to the new environmental center we're just getting to. The beehives will be out there, but we'll have empty hives inside that kids can open up and see the frames and kind of put on a bee suit and find out what it would be like to be a
Great.
beekeeper.
Can we go into this new center that you just talked
We sure
about?
can.
I'll bet you have keys.
It may still be open. I see the lights on in the office, which means Dave's here.
Such a beautiful building.
You know, that's one thing I'm really pleased the council funded an extra position, because having Dave and Keith on board, it really helps get some lights on here.
Yeah.
We have, you can see we had,
You've moved right in.
We've
since I
moved
was
right
here
in.
just a week ago.
we had a big event this weekend, the Phi Birthday. So we have spinning wheels, we have a floor loom over here. You'll see baskets full of washed fleece. You'll see a big pile of dirty sheep's fleece, because tomorrow more kids are coming, and so we left stuff out because they'll be washing some of that fleece and using carding combs.
Oh yeah. So this is from sheep.
That is from a single sheep,
From a single
believe it or
sheep.
not. We had it out, and this is some that was washed, so you can see the difference. Kids can feel how oily it is.
Yeah.
There's somewhere in this room, there's a display of things made from lanolin, which is the oil they retrieve from the sheep's fleece. They use it in lotions and diaper rash cream, all sorts of fun stuff. So we had towels around to lay the fleece on to dry, and a big wash. We have out the back here. Let me put another light on.
Okay.
They go on. We have this area outside that has an outdoor sink, and that's where we set up the big wash tubs. Hey, here come the horses.
Oh, nice. Those are ponies or
Yeah,
what?
those are mini horses.
No, they're pretty strong. They're pretty strong.
This area, I'm hoping to make an outdoor classroom, putting a fence around, maybe an above ground little pond for turtles to sun, so you can come and use this as a kind of another room, an outdoor room.
Yeah, nice.
And it
So
was
you have an
really great.
overhang just in case.
Because
Right.
we weren't sure if it was rain was a possibility Saturday, so we planned to have the wash tubs here right by the sink. We could dump them out on the plants after we washed the fleece.
Nice. Well, can you show us the rest of this building?
Yes.
Wonderful.
We have a kitchen area. We have these portable display boards. One thing my next project is to work at getting these tanks in something more permanent. We have some challenges, with the thermostat in the middle of the wall, how to arrange things, but we're working on that.
And you can partition this if you want to
You
have
can.
two spaces.
We have everything in this room can get moved, these display boards, and we could set up 60 chairs auditorium style in a flash. We could move those stands to the side of the wall, and we could have a presentation here. We could have I'd love to have people, we bought dishes so that people could feel comfortable if they want to come here for a meeting and then stick around for a potluck or a brunch or whatever. Because part of in Parks and Rec, we really want to build community. And so when people come together, we want them to connect with each other, not just with the speaker, not just with the presentation.
Yeah.
We want to build
It's another
community
place where
here.
we do that, right?
Yes.
In Cupertino.
This area, most of the event on Saturday took place out here. We probably had half a dozen volunteers who came with their spinning wheels or looms. We had somebody doing cordage, and we had those doors wide open. this is my favorite room. This is the
very
library.
attractive.
It's great to have all the books available.
Mm.
We have Zoe Thompson's paintings displayed here. We had more fiber events in here on the weekend. So we have, again, multiple places to have. During a festival-like event, we had people doing experiments with cotton and kapok. There are two plant fibers that are really amazing. Cotton is known for its ability to absorb water. Kapok is used in life vest. And you see there's a Queen Mary life vest and a World War II life vest. Kapok just resists water. And but amazingly, you can we poured olive oil on top of a little basin of water, and the kapok selectively absorbs the oil. You can mop up oil spills with it. So it was kind of fun to learn about plant fiber. And if you go over to Target, there are these incredible plants that are related to kapok that grow right there. They have these pink blossoms. These huge pods are hanging from the tree.
Cool.
And then this is the little fluff that comes from them that is, just partly it's fun to learn about these things, but I also keep thinking some kid has got to get inspired to figure a way to, that is one that isn't ripe yet, so we sliced one open. But a kid will be inspired to figure out a way to clean up oil spills using some plant material.
So kapok loves
Kapok.
the non-polar,
Yes,
has an affinity
Yes.
for non-polar
it's
things like oil as opposed to
yeah,
water.
it's not hydrophilic.
Not hydrophilic.
Yes.
See, I learned a few
Okay.
new words too. Shall we wander down to the blacksmith shop?
Yes. Do you want to see Dave hard at work at his desk?
Wow. Well, this looks
So
like
this
fun.
is, we don't have permits yet to fire up the forge.
You might want to
really-
finish the chimney before
Yes.
you do too.
Well, we're waiting to figure out if the fire department has particular ways they'd like us to put the stack,
Oh,
what
sure.
type of pipe, before we finish it off.
And then I can come over here and make my horseshoes.
Yes, you can. And you know, there are around the state a few other forges that are set up, traditional ones, that are, there's one at King City that has 4-H clubs come to it and kids learn metalworking. There's one at Ardenwood locally and Guerin Ranch. Cool tongs. We have, aside from the blacksmithing tools, there are some, Charlie Bear was a collector of a lot of tools. So we have some old woodworking tools, old agricultural tools. There's some things I don't know quite what they do. And so we're maybe having some what's it nights. I just spoke with a guy who is into antique tools, and he said he'd love to come down and help us.
Wow. Yeah, this is really a part of our
I think
19th
there's-
century, early 20th century past, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. And the Historical Society is going to be coming down giving history walks
Yeah.
and maybe doing some programming here. They are planning, the first one is January 23rd, so look in your rec schedule and sign up for it. And I'd like to talk to the school district. They're changing standards. There's new science and
Sure.
environmental standards, new science programming they want to do at the schools, and I'd love to find out how we can integrate history, science, and have great school programs here that include both the blacksmith shop and in the environmental center.
Why don't we walk out and meet a couple members of your staff?
Yeah.
Oh, this is a great backdrop too.
Yeah.
You have the setting sun. Why don't you guys get in here?
Okay. Well, this is Dave, and this is Ricky. Hey, don't get me shy. Ricky
Camera
is
shy.
just finished. I don't know how many weeks total of creek tours. He was out here about 4 days a week.
Come on, join us.
Looking for bugs in the creek. That's kind of the real hands-on part. And this is Dave is full-time now out here. And
Yeah, I don't know what Barbara has covered, but we're looking forward to new programs, especially getting some teens, adult programs off the ground. We have a lot of programs that are built for our 5 to 9 year old, and those are always popular. But we really want to expand into having some more, specific nature talks, having a drop-in teen program, getting more teens involved in our volunteering, our Helping Hands program out here. And we want to hear from the public. So if there's ideas that anyone has, please stop by, let us know.
Well, I recognize you from your past work in our Parks and Rec department as doing a great job engaging campers and others, right?
Well, thank you. Yeah, my background before moving out here was working in our youth and teen programs. Previously worked with the teen commission in our summer camp. So hopefully trying to bring some of those ideas out to the ranch.
Well, cool. And I would say for today, that concludes our broadcast, our Periscope session from the Stevens Creek corridor here on the west side of Cupertino. We hope you enjoyed it. My name is Rod Sinks. I'm currently mayor until, I guess, December 1st. And then we'll have election for a new mayor within the council. But until then, it's been fun from here, and we'll sign off and see you again soon.